Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. My name is Janelle Villiers, and I am your host of the Janelle Villiers podcast. And if this is your first time with me, go ahead and put a one in the comments. I like to shout out all of the first timers. If you are returning, welcome. Go ahead and put a two in the comments so I know that you are returning. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So if this is your first time with me on the Janelle Villiers podcast, then welcome, because I am all about helping people write their stories. So I give a lot of tips and exercises, tools for you to use so that way you can write your book. I believe that a book can change a person's life. I know this because it's done that for me, it's done that for a lot of other people I know. And so I want to help people be able to do that with their books as well. And so if you have written a book, great. If you're in the starting phases of writing a book, excellent. If you've already written a book, let me know, because I want to interview. I love interviewing authors, authors that are launching new books, just so we can hear more about what the writing process was like for you, learn more about you, your story. So please let me know. Put a comment like, "Hey, I'm a new author. I want to get on your show. Let me know. I'd love to interview you." And then sometimes we also interview people who haven't written a book yet, but their story deserves to be told. More people need to know about them. And so you're going to see a lot of guests like that as well. So welcome to the show again. And so today, I don't have any guests. It's just me and you. Just me and you. But I'm going to be talking about, I'm actually really excited about today's topic, because we're going to get into what it takes to start a book. So, what are the steps to start writing your book? Hey, Bren. So, I live. Hi. So I wanted to go over, first off, just some mindset traps that keep aspiring authors stuck. One of them is this idea that, like, you're just gonna find some time and go to like Costa Rica, or you're gonna go to the Alps or something, and go into a cabin and just spend all this time just writing, or writing, or if you're that type of writer. Yeah, that's not a thing. That's a mindset trap that you keep telling yourself, oh, when I get that time to like isolate myself and do that, then I'll do that. Maybe that'll be in the future. I'm not trying to say that'll never happen, but honestly, most writers, that's not what they're doing. They're finding the time and prioritizing it and making it happen. So another mindset trap that I feel like a lot of people get into is, I don't have the time, right? So it's either, oh, I'm going to find the time and like go off in the mountains somewhere, or it's, oh, I don't have the time. And I believe that we find time for the things that we really think are important to us, right? We find time for the things that we want to find the time for. And so when people tell me, oh, I don't have the time, it's not that I don't believe you. I just say, like, oh, well, we just need to figure out how we can make this happen for your schedule. And sometimes I get it. Sometimes people just need to see it in order to understand how they can fit it into your schedule. Bren knows all about this. She is a busy warrior mom who has been writing her book and is about to publish very, very soon. You guys are going to see it launch very soon. And she can tell you, like, she didn't go to the Alps and write. she found the time, right? It's just about prioritizing and finding the time to get it done. And then I think the third mindset trap that keeps a lot of aspiring authors back is this idea that, like, what I have to write isn't good enough. Who's going to want to read my book? Who's going to want to who's going to think that what I have to say is important, right? Yeah, see? Frank can tell you, that's it. She didn't go to the Alps. We were finding the time in the in between moments, right? All right. So yeah, I think that's the other mindset thing that people think, is that they worry about who's going to read it. Is it good enough? That kind of a thing. And here's what I'll tell you. For this mindset, this is maybe a hack. I hate to even use that word hack. Like, I feel like it's just kind of like a perspective change. Instead of thinking like, who's going to read it? Is it really good enough? Just think that you are writing your book for one person. Just think that you're writing your book for one person. And if that one person is helped or finds value in what you've written, then you've done your job. You've done your job. So instead of focusing on like, oh, who's going to love it, who's going to read it, Don't worry about that. Just think about the one person who this is for. And that usually ends up being super, super, super helpful. Okay. So those are some of the mindset stuff that I just wanted to get through. I think a lot of time we get trapped in that, and then authors never follow through and actually write their book. So once you kind of take your perspective back from those traps, I think the next thing that people have is they're like, all right, well, like, how do I even get started? I have all these ideas in my head. I have lots of projects or lots of book ideas. Like, which book do I even start with? And so I love using my book blueprint as a way to get us started. And so if you're coming to my masterclass tonight, you're going to do it with me. We're going to do it together. But just as like a Cliff Notes version for you guys, what it is I ask people, okay, your book is out. You're a best-selling author. You have a line of people really excited to get a signed copy of your book, right? Super successful. People are coming up to you and they get to the table and you're signing and they're like, thank you so much for writing this book. It helped me so much, right? Like, you're super happy. They're happy. Everyone's happy. But I want you to think, what are the top 5 key points or lessons that you want your reader to take away with them after they read your book? Top 5 things that you want them to take away, a lesson, key points, whatever that is, after reading your book. And once you figure out those 5, I mean, this usually takes people about anywhere from 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes if they really are like getting into it. But like, really and truly think of your 5. And then after that, if they, you know how people's attention spans are small. So if they don't come away with 5, what if they only come away with 3? Of those 5, what are the top 3 that you want them to walk away with? And then I'm going to challenge you even further. Out of those top 3, what's the number 1 lesson, key point, goal that you want them to understand or walk away with after reading your book? And that is now your true north. That's kind of like your anchoring. You know, like, okay, this is what I want people to get out of it. And now I want you to think of, what are some stories that I could share that would illustrate these points? What are some stories that I could share that would illustrate these top 5 key points? And now once you start thinking of those stories, that becomes your outline. You're like, okay, I want to tell this story. I want to tell this story. I want to tell this story. I want to tell this story, right? And you're like, oh, okay. So now maybe each story becomes its own chapter. Or maybe you have a couple of stories in one chapter. But the idea is now you start to like fill in the blanks as to like what you're going to write. And maybe you've already written some stuff and that's okay. But now you can kind of order it in a way that makes sense, because you're like, oh, yeah, because this story I will keep, but this one I won't, because it doesn't really help with illustrating any of the top 5 key points. So this is honestly, my book blueprint is where I tell everybody to start. It also helps if you have multiple ideas, because once you start thinking, well, what do I want the reader to get from my book? Then once you get clarity on what you want the reader to take away from your book, then you get really clear on as to which project you want to work on. I find that really helpful. Okay. So good. I'm so glad you're getting so much insight, friend. I found this really helpful. And I'm glad that you have too. So like I said, if you're going to come to my masterclass tonight, I'm really excited for you to do that, because we're going to go into that in more detail. There's still time to register. It starts in about, it starts at 7. So an hour and a half. So you've got about an hour and a half left to register. All of those links are in the description below. If you're on Facebook, it's up above. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is how to design your own writing rhythm or routine that fits into your real life, right? So like, even though you have a packed schedule, I get it. How do you create something that fits into your life? So I have a couple of ways in which I like to do this. For some people, they just need to fit it in. And so this means you now need to wake up earlier, 20 minutes earlier, 30 minutes earlier, and you're just going to do that first thing in the morning before the rest of your day gets carried away. And then I get it. I got some night people on here who are like, no, Janelle, I just cannot wake up in the morning. I totally hear you. So you do the reverse. You do it at night. You get like the second wind at night when everybody goes to sleep, and finally you have some time to just focus on what you want to focus on. So do it at night. So you're just going to, instead of binging something or watching something, you're going to actually spend 20 to 30 minutes just writing at night when everybody's asleep and you finally have time to yourself. This is not forever. It's just for a season, just so you can write the book. And then the other method that I highly recommend is called a sprinting method. And so this is when You only write for 10 minutes at a time or 15 minutes at a time. No longer than that. It's either 10 or 15. And you set your timer. Let's say you set your timer for 10 minutes and you're like, I'm just going to write for 10 minutes. Set the timer, write. And then the timer goes off, you're done. And you've done it. You've done your 10 minutes. And what people have found is they're like, oh, shoot, I could actually find another 10 minutes at some point in the day, right? At some point during the day, you can find another 10 minutes. And so next thing you know, you fit in 2 10-minute sprints in your day. And now you've written for 20 minutes. And then, hey, if you can find a second 10 minutes, you can probably find a third 10 minutes. And now you've written for 30 minutes in a day. It's wild how this happens. And so the key is with the sprints is that when you're about a minute, when you've got like a minute left, you actually stop writing and then put a note to yourself for what you're going to write during your next sprint. Because during the sprint, you don't have time to be thinking, "Ooh, what am I going to write now? What am I?" No, you don't have time for that. So you got to put a little note for yourself. Okay, the next sprint, I'm going to write X, Y, Z. And then the next time you do your sprint, you're like, "Oh, I'm now writing about X, Y, Z." And then you just write, right? So that way you just know what's happening. So 10-minute sprints. If it's 15 minutes, awesome. Same idea. And you write for 14 minutes, and that last minute, you just tell yourself what you're going to write for the next 15. Same thing usually happens. People do 15 minutes, and they're like, wait, I think I can find another 15 minutes sometime today. And then they find another 15 minutes. And then guess what? They wrote 30 minutes that day. And here's the thing. I think people don't realize it, but if you just were consistent and wrote 30 minutes a day for 30 days, that's 900 minutes, and that's 15 hours. You know that picture that you thought of yourself in the Alps or Costa Rica writing, you're isolated and all that stuff, right? You couldn't find the 15 hours to do that. But if you did it over time in small increments, you could actually make that same 15 hours happen. So that's one of the things. So you can seriously fit in the time to write. You can do it. I believe in you. All right. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is why messy beginnings are actually sacred. I think the other thing that keeps writers from starting is they think that their first draft has to be perfect. And I really want you to hear me on this. It is not. Give yourself permission. If you want, I give you permission to have a messy first draft. Your first draft is all it is getting what's in your head, out of your heart, and onto paper or on the computer, right? That's all this is. It's not going to be perfect. That's the whole point, is that it is not perfect. That is literally the point. So give yourself permission to let it go and just write. Just write. Don't worry about punctuation. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about any of that. Just get the thoughts out. That's what's most important. Yeah. That's correct, Bren. That is correct. So, I mean, honestly, and I would even say, like, if you understand that it's actually something sacred about that, because you're doing something really brave, right? You're doing something really brave by like putting all of your thoughts and ideas onto paper. You're like making it real. And I know that can seem really scary. And so the idea of you even writing a messy first draft is actually a very sacred thing. You are on your path to becoming an author. And I think that is a truly amazing thing, you know, the fact that you can have the courage to just start, where most people won't even do that. Most people won't even start. So that's a really big thing. So look, your messy beginning really is a sacred part of the writing journey. It's one of the bravest things that you'll ever do is just start writing. That's it. So that essentially is everything that I want to share. I have to do a masterclass, like I said, and then a little bit less than an hour and a half. So now like an hour and 15 minutes. So you guys know how I do. I have notes here. So I just want to come back to my notes and make sure we do a summary. Let's summarize. All right. So in terms of what you can do to start writing your book, first is identifying the 3 mindset traps that keep aspiring authors stuck. Number 1 is you think you're going to go off somewhere and like put yourself in isolation and just write for hours, days, weeks on end. It's not going to happen. It's not really what it looks like. You just find the time. The second mindset trap is that people think that they don't have enough time. And we just went over how you can find the time. So that is a trap. And the third thing is that no one will want to read your book. that you think it's not good enough. And I challenge you to think of the one person, just think of one person that you're writing to. You're not writing to the whole world or for the whole world. You're just writing for that one person. And that kind of shift in your mindset, I think, will help you move forward to the next steps. So we talked about my book blueprint, where you think about the top 5 key points or lessons that you want the reader to take away from your book after reading it. And that helps you kind of navigate you towards your outline and then figure out exactly what you want to write. And then we also talked about how to create your own writing rhythm. For some people, it's going to be waking up in the morning a little earlier. That was me, by the way. I'm the morning person. So I just woke up earlier. Other people, it's they stay later. It's not that they stay up later at night. It's just that they like take out the thing that they would have done, like binge watching a show or even reading a book. And instead of doing that, now they're actually writing again for 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so. But it's finding your own rhythm. And then for those that don't have mornings or evenings, we talked about the sprinting method, right? So just setting your timer and only writing for 10 minutes or 15-minute increments. That's it. Just 10 minutes, just 15 minutes. And if you only do one in the day, that's great. But like I said, a lot of times people do one and they're like, I can find another 10 minutes or I can find another 15 minutes, right? Totally fine, totally normal. And then finally, messy beginnings are sacred. You're doing something brave. You're putting your heart and your mind, your ideas, you're putting them onto paper, and just trust that what starts off messy eventually develops and grows into something really beautiful. That's what editing is for. Anyway, that is my time. I hope you found this valuable. Thank you so much for watching, for tuning in. For those of you, again, that are on your writing journey, don't you worry. Like you are not alone. We can all do this together. You shouldn't feel like you need to do this alone. For those of you who are coming to the masterclass tonight, I'm excited to see you. If you haven't registered yet, you've got like an hour to register. Again, if you're on YouTube, the link is below. If you're on Facebook, the link is above to register for the masterclass. And you know what, guys? I will see you next Monday, right here, same time, same place. I'll be back. And I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great night, everyone.